Here's our GMC Sierra tweet or X of the night. It comes from the Indianapolis Indians. 2023, year of the Young Bucks. 12 Indians made their Major League Baseball debuts with the Pirates to tie the single-season record that began in 2005. So they have a lot of guys who are up here. They need to supplement it with more people. Baseball playoffs begin tomorrow. It's a shame, once again, we're not going to get a chance to see it because those are some interesting matchups. Brandon Woodruff, by the way, a good pitcher for Milwaukee, is not going to be available as they take on Arizona in their series. Andrew, let's go right to it. We have a limited amount of time and a lot of people want to talk. We're going to begin with our number one Cochran Go One Better Call of the Night, Jerry in Franklin. Hey, Jerry, how are you?
Hey, Bob. Thanks for taking my call. Hey, Pony.
Hey.
You guys have been around long enough. I don't know if you remember back in the 80s when Dan Rooney Sr. told Chuck Noll he was going to get rid of some of the ineffective coaches. And I agree it might not be a good time in the middle of the season, but I wonder if the younger Rooneys here have the same fortitude to do that. And if Omar Khan is going to have anything, I don't know if we can waste another year. And my last thing is, it makes you wonder who the cheap owner in Pittsburgh really is.
Well, it's not them. They spend money all the way up to the cap that they're allowed. I mean, if bottom line is the Pirates don't have to do anything, and they don't normally. So if you're going to make that comparison, it's wrong, in my opinion. The Steelers always spend to the limit, and they try to do the best they can with what they have. They may have a different way of doing it, but as far as changes, I'm sure at the end of the season there will be a change. If they do not get the results they want, Andrew, there will be. The question is, should they make it ahead of time? The bye week last year, I remember it was 2-6 at the time. We were over there talking to Matt Canada, and he answered the questions, and the questions were, do you think you're going to be back? Has there been talk of a change? And it did not happen. Will that happen again in week 5 going into week 6? I don't know.
Well, unless they're counting on bye week magic again and lightning striking twice, I don't think it will. As far as the caller's point about the ownership and some frugality, the one thing I'll say back to that is they don't invest in assistant coaches. They invest in a head coach. They don't pay a lot of money to assistant coaches, and that has long been a complaint of Steelers fans, and for good reason. If you're going to go and save bucks on assistant coaches, how about get me some young whippersnappers in here, guys in their 30s or late 20s who are guys that are climbing the ladder like Mike Tomlin did in his coaching career, not a retread college coach who had no NFL experience, not even as a quality control man or intern in the NFL. Matt Canada had 0. The guy before that was Randy Fiechner, who was only around because of his relationship with Tomlin and also because Ben could boss him around. I mean, they've not done well with the offensive coordinator position, and that's a requirement in today's NFL, especially when your head coach is on the defensive side of the ball. They got worked over by a guy who was calling his 4th game at the NFL level on Sunday and doing it with an offensive line that was made up of third stringers. That should be a rude awakening about where they stand as an offensive football team. They've not had a 400-yard game under Matt Canada. They have not won a game scoring 30 points since Matt Canada took over as offensive coordinator.
That's absolutely true, and you're absolutely right about that, and I agree with the coaching situation. There are a lot of good young ones out there, and you have to find them and allow them to do their thing. Because if you don't do that, then you're going to end up with the same kind of stuff over and over again, and we're seeing some of that. So, it's only 2-2. They have a game coming up. It's a big one. We'll see how things progress here. But in the meantime, major concerns. Although I could say that about a lot of teams. I was watching Cincinnati yesterday, Andrew, and I couldn't believe what I was watching, how bad they are and what's going on with Joe Burrow, which is another topic. For another day, we don't have enough time. So we're going to go instead to Tony in the Hill District. Tony, go ahead.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Bob. Hey, Drew. How you doing?
Good.
I want to say the Texans ran the ball pretty well, and I think that Cam Hayward, to me, is really missing from that defensive end spot because T.J. Watt can only do so much to hold that line together by himself. I think if Cam Hayward was there, I don't think they would have ran the ball as good as they did on the Steelers.
Well, but they also have guys they brought in. I didn't hear Larry Ogunjobi's name too much. I mean, there are a lot of guys out there who are counted on to just, step in, next man up, as they always say. They've been gouged in the run game, and this is what is disturbing. We're often talking about the offense with good reason, Andrew, but when you look at what their defenses allow teams to do, week 1, week 2, and then yesterday, it's off the charts how much success they're having. This is a defense that's supposed to be the highest paid, therefore elite. Well, they're not been elite so far in any facet of their game, really.
They're 29th in total defense. They're 29th in total offense. At least they're consistent. They're in the same spot on both lists, which is right near the bottom of the league. I love Cam Hayward. He's a borderline Hall of Famer. He's one of my favorite players of the last 20 years. However, 2 years ago with Hayward playing the entire season, they were dead last against the run. So I don't want to hear that you take one man away from this defense and they become this kind of run, no run resistance whatsoever. They've given up at least 139 rushing yards in 3 games. Cam was out there for most of that 49ers game when they were getting worked over in the run game. So I don't think it's about one man. If it is, then that's a big problem because, as you pointed out, you've invested so much money in your defense. One guy going down should not cause the whole house of cards to crumble.
We're going to take a break here, Andrew. We'll come back. We have lantern flies in here. I'm going to try to do my best to get rid of them when we come back right here on KDKA+.